The Bouncer, Part 1. Ballu absolutely hated his job. I mean, on most days he didn't like what he did, but today he completely abhorred it. See, Ballu was this bouncer in this fancy Delhi hotel, really swanky. And today, the hotel had given its lawns for an exhibition, the kinds where they sell clothes and accessories and that kind of stuff. The problem was that, like it happens very often, the organizer of this exhibition turned out to be a shady character. So basically, she had made all these fantastic promises. Such a big stall, big names, fashion designers will be there, you'll have huge publicity. And on the day of the exhibition, had delivered on nothing. So the stalls were half the size, absolutely no big names, hardly any publicity, nobody was showing up. And worst of all, it turned out to be a rainy day. Now, obviously, the organizer couldn't do anything about that, but at least she could have made provisions because it had been raining for 3 days previous. But no. So basically, people had to make do with their tiny stalls and with rain pouring down, no hope of people coming. So they were angry, they were pissed off. And worst of all, the organizer had absconded, scooted, was hiding somewhere. So people were restive, people were angry, they wanted their money back, but they had nobody to speak to because the organizer was hiding. Now, instead of talking to them, resolving it, trying to make amends, she had basically sent her old father to talk to these people. And the old father also was taking a very entitled, rich, uppity stance at what can we do? It's not our fault. You guys should have made some provisions, etc., which just made people even more angry to the point where now they had blocked the hotel entrance, the lawns, and were not allowing anyone in and were basically doing a full morcha, dharna, protest, whatever you call it. Obviously, the hotel couldn't have that. They had other guests coming in and this was disconcerting for them. So that's where Ballu came in. Ballu had been sent to, deal with the situation, get the, agreed stall owners to behave, go back into the lawns, etc. And Ballu didn't want to do this. He could feel for these people. He realized that these were small guys, each of whom had paid like 1 lakh, 2 lakhs for the stall, money that wasn't easy to come by, and were hoping to make huge sales and break even, and now were faced with the prospect of having huge losses. And he also had dreams. Once upon a time, he had dreamed of becoming kind of Mr. India and making a name of himself, and obviously they had come to naught. So he was sympathetic towards these guys, and he didn't want to push them, didn't want to hassle them, but it was his job. The situation started to get worse. One of the organizers, a young girl, was almost in tears. She'd gotten a couple of her clients. She wanted to show them her wares despite the rain and everything. But the other organizers were angry, were blocking everyone. It was also becoming a huge altercation. Ballu couldn't hold himself back. He had to intervene. So he stepped in. Now the problem was that all these stall owners, they did not understand Ballu's intention. They didn't realize he was on their side. To them, he was just somebody from the hotel coming to, throw his weight around. And the trouble is, Ballu, kind-hearted guy, nice guy, but when you saw him, you just saw this muscular, huge, wrestler kind of person with a mean face. Couldn't help his face. So they all thought that this guy is coming to push us out, and they got even more angry, and he was the perfect person for them to throw their aggression against him. They couldn't hit an old man, and they couldn't very well get aggressive with a young girl, but this man, it broke out into a complete fight, Ballu also trying to defend himself, pushing people back, people hitting him. Before you knew it, the cops came, and all of these men, including Ballu, were arrested and found themselves in jail. Poor Ballu. He had only tried to help out the situation, and he landed up in jail. He's sitting there feeling totally depressed, wondering what the hell, how things could have gone so bad. But things got worse. You see, the cell in which he was, how big is a police station, how many cells do they have? So they lumped everyone together. So all the other guys who'd been arrested, who anyway had beef with Ballu, were sitting in that cell. Plus there were other goons who, seeing this, muscular, tough guy, wanted to make sure that their authority was not threatened. So basically, everyone is looking for an opportunity to put Ballu down. One guy got up, walked up to Ballu and said, "Hey, what do you think of yourself?" Ballu was feeling miserable for himself, sulky, tried to ignore. That guy wouldn't take no for an answer. He pushed Ballu. Said, "What do you think? You think you're too good? I'll show you who you are, bloody." Before you knew it, a fight had happened, and Ballu pulled his palm back, fist, whacked him with one solid punch. That guy fell unconscious. Okay. Now the other guys jumped on Ballu. Again, a full fight broke out. The cops came. As far as they were concerned, Ballu was the one who had knocked out that guy. Ballu was the one who looked like a, thug fighter. So Ballu was the problem. So they took Ballu out and decided to put him in a solitary cell. Like I said, small police station, what solitary cell? They basically had one cell that hadn't been used for years, maybe decades. So they just dumped him out there. And it was stinky, smelly, filthy, and atrocious. Poor Ballu sitting there, cursing his life, wondering how things had turned out so bad, wondering if anything would ever get better. Was this the end of his life? Now he'd have a criminal record, spend God knows how long in jail. He'd definitely have lost his job at the hotel. Where's he to go from here? And he's just wishing that something would change, some miracle would happen, and all of a sudden, a hole appeared in the floor. Literally, it just appeared and this person's head popped out. And that person looked at Ballu and said, "Finally, how long am I supposed to wait for you?" And the head disappeared. The person went back into the hole. Ballu's just staring. What the hell is going on? Is he dreaming this? Did he actually get knocked out in the fight and all of this is some weird hallucination? Then the head popped up again and said, "Are you coming or what?" Ballu's still too confused to, do anything. That guy looked at Ballu, snapped his fingers. Before Ballu knows it, he's in the hole. The hole shuts and Ballu finds himself in a whole new world. Interested to know more? Hold on for part 2.